Welcome back, everybody, to the Roads We've Traveled podcast. My name is AJ Pelletier, and thank you for tuning in and subscribing and telling a friend. I appreciate it. Things are going all right. Things are going well with my new therapist. I see my doctor in a few days. I'm probably going to be starting medication for the first time in my life, so I will definitely keep you guys posted about that, how it goes and everything. But I'm feeling good. Doing the best I can, which is something that we've talked about in therapy, and I'm working on it. So I feel good. I've been going for more hikes and enjoying that, and just being okay with me, which is something that I've struggled with most of my life. But anyway, just a couple quick announcements real quick before we get into today's guest. We have a Facebook group page now. We call it the Roads We've Traveled Road Trippers group on Facebook. You can join that. It is just a community of fans of the show where we get together, we talk about positive things and help each other out kind of thing. It's not a political group page. It's not any other toxic thing that you're seeing on the internet right now. It's not that. So, and the rules are stated in that group too. And we have moderators and everything like that to keep the peace and everything like that. And you're more than welcome to join. But any sort of hate comments or intolerance or bigotry, you'll be removed immediately. That's just how it's going to go. So it's just a positive group page to spread positivity. So if you want to join today, check out the Facebook page. The links there, or just look it up. It's the Roads We've Traveled Road Trippers group. Excuse me. But yeah, let's get into today's guest. Today is my friend Lauren O'Toole. She is a powerlifter and entrepreneur and just an all-around great person to talk to. We got to know each other in this episode a little bit. I got to know about her background and like getting into like fitness and everything, how healthy that lifestyle was for her, not only physically but mentally as well. A lot of the competitions that she was involved with, and then dealing with her, it helped deal with her depression and stuff like that too, that she's dealt with her life, as she states in this episode. But then she also got into making her own clothing line called OG Barbell, which I'm sure you've probably heard by now. We've been advertising on the audio version of the podcast. Definitely check it out. OG Barbell was started by Lauren to spread positivity and, just show off her brand and her creative side and everything like that. And, I really enjoy it a lot. That's why I reached out to her. I loved her message about lifting more, hating less, and just being more positive and stuff like that. And that's why, we hooked up and did this episode together. So I want to thank Lauren again for being my guest, because it was so great getting to know her and, talking to her and stuff like that. And, I think you guys should all check out her clothing brand. I got a couple things coming, and I already got one shirt already, which is really comfortable, and I wear it whenever I work out. So thank you again to Lauren. But let's get right into it. Here is episode 33 of the Roads We've Traveled podcast with Mrs. Lauren O'Toole. Welcome to the Roads We've Traveled podcast, episode 33. My name is AJ Pelletier. Thank you again for tuning in and subscribing and telling your friends. I appreciate it. I got a great guest today. First time on the show. We have Miss Lauren O'Toole. How are you, Lauren?
I'm good. How's everybody?
Good. Thanks for coming on the show. We tried getting you on the last season, but I know scheduling and everything like that didn't quite work out, but I appreciate you being on the show this season. How are things during the pandemic for you?
They're okay. I had to be furloughed from work for a little while. I'm actually in healthcare for my main job. So I work at an eye surgeon's office, and all the surgeries were postponed and everything. So being furloughed, I actually picked up like baking on the side, and I was delivering baked goods for people.
Oh, that's very cool.
Little COVID pounds never hurt.
What pounds? I never see any pounds on you, because every picture you post to Facebook, you're like super ripped and like jacked or working out and like pushing. Even we'll get into that a little bit more with your fitness stuff, but you're fucking like shredded. Like you could probably like break me in half if you wanted to, like Batman and Bane or something. Like, I would not want to be in a dark alley with you.
Ever in my life. So
What's that?
I've never hurt any person in my life.
I know you seem like a super sweet person, but so yeah, no, but that's awesome though. You got into baking and stuff. I did see something that you posted a while back with like some protein powder recipes and your baking. It was very interesting. I was kind of curious. What are some of your favorite recipes that you've baked?
I actually don't do too much healthy stuff with my baking. I've made a few like protein truffles and stuff, but I'm into powerlifting. So powerlifting guys, like they just want like full calorie, like cupcakes. And I would make oversized cookies, like stuff with like Reese's Pieces and like Reese's peanut butter cups. Like the more calories, the better for them.
See, I wish I can like take my calorie intake and like turn it into muscle myself, but it just all seems to just stay as fat down here for me. We got to talk off air. We got to figure something out, because I'm doing something wrong. But anyway, but that's all. So you were doing a lot of baking. Like, did you get a lot of business and stuff for your baking?
Yeah, actually a lot. I was getting at least like 15 orders per week, and I was just by myself doing it and then delivering it myself too. So it kept me busy. Like I was, going to grocery stores and delivering stuff for my mom and sister because they did not want to go out during like the height of the pandemic. So it was like baking, groceries, then family groceries, and then my delivery for all the baked goods. So
very cool. What's that?
I was definitely busy. And then after the pandemic, like after I went back to work, there were still people reaching out to me for all the cookies and like cupcakes. And unfortunately I had to like stop for a little bit because work was like, as soon as surgery got kicked back in, we were going crazy.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, like, myself, I actually, I'm in the early stages of glaucoma, and I actually need to make an appointment to go see my eye doctor again, because it's been over a year. But yeah, I can imagine how busy things have probably gotten over there for you, because like you were saying before, like everything was shut down. People couldn't like get in and see the surgeon or anything like that. I'm sure, everyone,
right.
So definitely. But so you're originally from Waterbury, was it?
Yep, I'm from Waterbury. I stopped living in Waterbury only 3 years ago, so I was in Waterbury all my life.
Well, I hear you. I've been out of Waterbury myself for like 8 years now, and I hate going back whenever I have to go back for anything.
It's totally different now. I go back and I'm like, I don't remember it being this bad when I was growing up, and I'm like, this definitely must have changed, because
it definitely changed a lot. My grandparents had a house on Columbia Boulevard, like the nice section of Waterbury, and just seeing how much has changed over the years between that neighborhood and like where my mother lives in Waterbury still, where you can't even like go through a green light without having to look both ways before you go, because people just fly right through red lights all the time. Like it's horrible.
And unregistered, like they don't care.
Yeah.
Reckless.
Yeah, it's gotten pretty reckless. Yeah. So, but any chance I can get to avoid Waterbury, I avoid it at all costs, because like I just don't like going to Waterbury for anything. But anyway, but what was growing up like for you?
So growing up, I had a big family. I have 4 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
So I'm the middle child. So you know
Same.
what they say, middle child. But like we weren't the wealthiest at all. So we barely left home. We kind of kept to ourselves and used our own imagination to, play outside and make our own games. Like we used to like pretend that we had our own gas station and like ride our bikes through a play gas station. And it was always just me, my older brother, and my 2 younger sisters. And then I had an older sister, but she was like way older than me, and she already almost moved out by then. So she was like she didn't want to play gas station with bicycles.
No, guys, come on, get out of here. No, like.
And I was always the daredevil. So we had a wooden playscape, and we hooked up, like one of those wire dog leashes from our playscape all the way to the treehouse. And then my brother and sister are like, okay, we're gonna hook you up with like a laser tag vest, and we're gonna slide you down from the treehouse.
Oh God.
So I mean, a laser tag vest is not very secure. So
right.
the moment they hooked me up, it was just snapped, and then that was my first concussion.
Oh my God. That's pretty good. I don't have the balls to do that. I have a fear of heights, and it got even worse after my my accident a few years ago that caused my spinal injury, which resulted in surgery. So yeah, I hate heights. Like whenever I get on planes, like I'm always like super nervous, but like I don't like hyperventilate or anything like that. But if I'm on a high place, I'm like, okay, I'm uncomfortable, like slightly dizzy. But yeah, I'm not a daredevil myself at all.
Not even even when you were younger?
No. I mean like I did like normal kid stuff as a kid. Like we my friends and I in our neighborhood would like ride our bikes and stuff and like play baseball, and we did some backyard wrestling, which is absolutely fucking hysterical to like. I wish I still had the tapes because they were so bad. Like it wasn't even like good where like we were borderline like about to break our limbs or anything like that. It was just like total like phantom hits, like we're like a foot away from the person punching them and everything. Like it's just so boring like that, So, that was my childhood, plus video games and stuff like that. So normal childhood, nothing really. But yeah, I mean, did you have like you were saying you were one of 8. Did you have like good relationships with your brothers and sisters and your parents? Like, was there anything like, I'm sure there wasn't anything too traumatic going on at home. Like, sounds like you had a really good childhood.
No, my parents were divorced at a very young age. So it was my mom raised, we had 4 kids.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said 8. I must have misinterpreted that. Yeah, I'm one of 4 myself. So
she raised the 4 of us, and it was just, like we had each other, like as brothers and sisters, to look out for each other. Like my brother would always do like cooking, like even now, like he's very innovative with his cooking. And we just, like if we had to do our own laundry, we were doing our laundry like when we were 6 years old. Like this is what we had to do. We never got, fed anything. And it's, if you wanted something, you had to get it for yourself.
Right.
I'm trying to taught you how to, like, at a young age, I was taught if I want something, I have to work for it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I hear you. It was the same for me too. My father like definitely installed like some good work ethics on all of us when we were young, and same thing. If you want something, you got to work for it. And
right.
It's all great values that I still hold to this day. I still work 2 jobs, and everything I own, I worked hard for and paid for myself. So yeah. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's okay. I think like work ethic was definitely instilled in me like when I was younger, and it definitely has carried forward with like doing my powerlifting, or just I have my own brand that I really want to like portray that I'm the one doing all the work. Like I don't want to hire people or anything like that, because if I could do it myself, I want to do it myself. But it's kind of like a give and take, because sometimes you just take on too much of a load.
Yeah. Girl, you're preaching. You're preaching to the choir, because it's the same thing with this podcast. Because like I technically have 2 podcasts, but the other one we haven't done in a little while because people are busy and they're whatever. But like, yeah, it's basically for me, I'm in the same boat as you, except I edit everything myself. I do all the promotion myself. I do all the photography, photo manipulation in Photoshop, all the video editing, the sample videos, the audio editing, all by myself, on top of working 2 jobs, not sleeping enough, which is not good, and not taking enough time for myself some days where I do feel burnt out. So I definitely hear you, but I get fully like, I feel good at the end of the day when I have a finished product to show people, because I'm like, yeah, I did that. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely a good feeling. I definitely wish I had some help if I could afford some help, but I can't, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. So, But yeah, no, I love your products, and we'll get into it in just a little bit. But I mean, like a lot of the designs that you've come up with and everything like that, I'm like, fuck, man, I gotta get in on some of that. Like some of your designs are like so cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just made one this morning. I was like, it says your anxiety is lying to you. That's
I
like
saw
my
that.
right now.
It's the total truth, though. I mean, like, getting into a little bit of mental health here. With that saying, do you have a lot of anxiety? Do you suffer from depression and stuff like that?
I definitely have, even when I was younger, I would get stomach aches like randomly. I would like suffer from migraines. And looking back at it now, I'm like, oh, I just had the stomach ache. Like I didn't feel good a lot of the time. And that when I would see if I only have recently seen a therapist for like the past couple of years, and I'm 32. So like I started seeing the therapist when I was 30. And talking to her about my childhood, she goes, well, you had anxiety when you're younger, like that's just a way of a child doesn't know emotion. Like a child doesn't know like, okay, this sensation is anxiety. Like, no, you just feel like you're worried about something. Like when I was younger, my mom had to buy me worry dolls. And I had like a little bag of worry dolls because I'd be like worried about the weather, worried about like, where's our next meal going to come? Like things that a kid shouldn't worry about.
Right.
So like now I look back and I'm like, I had anxiety for a long time. I just didn't realize it. And I think, well, for me, at least like anxiety and depression kind of like played together because then I just get like down about myself. Like, why am I worried about this right now? And just you kind of get into like this funk, which I call funk is a depressive state, especially seasonal depression. Oh my gosh.
It's
like
been
today,
even
sunny and I feel great.
Yeah, I hear you with the seasonal stuff, and it's been even worse throughout 2020 for like a lot of people, like including myself. But yeah, I mean, like I myself, I think I actually have an appointment next week to go see a new doctor because my primary doctor retired, and I had to find a new doctor. But I'm starting to feel like I have a lot more anxiety in my life more recently because like I've been having a lot of like I don't know if you've ever had like panic attacks or anything or anxiety attacks or anything like that, but like I'm starting to feel like I'm getting them because not to get too much into it, but like I said it on last episode, but my father was recently in the hospital and he's fine now, he's home, he's okay, but his health hasn't been the greatest in the last few years. He's been in and out of the hospital. And I had a friend text me that was like just checking in, seeing how he's doing and everything. As soon as I was done texting my friend, I immediately couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe. I was at work on top of it, which was even scarier. Yeah, and I had to run outside. I was like holding my chest, like I was like struggling to breathe. And then when I finally caught my breath and I was relaxed a little bit, I went and grabbed my inhaler. I'm like, this isn't the first time this has happened. Like, what is going on here? Like, I don't really know what it is. Like, was it just the fact that I was thinking about what was going on with my dad and my friend kind of triggered it? Like, I don't know. So I'm gonna get more answers hopefully next week and like dive more into this. Maybe I am having anxiety attacks or something, but
just like talking about it out loud actually makes it more real for you.
right, exactly. So
I actually did have I did suffer from panic attacks and about that's where it started with the therapist. Like it was like 2 years ago. And it was part of it was I was at work actually as well, which makes it totally worse because you don't feel comfortable like telling somebody at work because you're like, oh my gosh, something's wrong with me. But a patient was talking to me and I take like intake, so they're talking to me about their issues. And she said a whole bunch of things and I didn't remember one thing she said because my mind was just wandering. At the time I was in a bad mind space. Like a lot of things were going on in my life that were not going well. So it was just me focusing on all that and me not realizing what she said for this last, 2 minutes of talking freaks me out. Like, oh my gosh, something's wrong with me. And then you feel your heart start racing and then it goes faster and faster. And you're just like, you can't control your heart rate. And then that freaks you out even more. So that was my first panic attack. And it was the worst because literally all day I just felt out of it. Like you just feel like you're like, okay, I'm up here and my body's down here. Like what's happening?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, control at all.
Exactly. I mean, like I felt so drained after that happened too. And I still had like 8 hours to go, and I'm just like, fuck, I'm not gonna make it through tonight. Like, I'm struggling right now, and it definitely wasn't the first time it's happened. And like other things would like trigger it too, just like out of nowhere. Like I would just be just minding my own business at work, doing my thing, and then all of a sudden I just get those attacks. Like, what the hell am I doing? Like, what triggered it? It would just like come out of nowhere, like full flight or fight mode. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know, so I definitely want to get that checked out myself. And I think I need to start looking into another therapist again, because there's been recent stuff going on that I just need to, unload and talk about with somebody. So,
and I think therapy totally needs to be like it normalized. And it, people that say, I'm not saying all people, but a lot of people, when you say, oh, I'm seeing a therapist, they're like, oh, well, like what's wrong?
right.
Like, life, life happens, and everybody deals with things in a different way. And some people need to talk to someone about it. And I'm one of those people, I can't internalize anything, because I just will like all of a sudden I just explode. Like, full emotion. That's what the weight room comes into play. Go lift.
But that's an amazing healthy outlet though. You know what I mean? Like, I wish I can get, more into that myself. I need to get more into that. I need to stop making excuses and just do it, so, but anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Like the days that I can't make it to the gym, or we all need to take rest days. That's just the way it is. Your body needs to recuperate from training sessions. But those are the nights like I can't sleep barely, because I'm so used to just running myself, all day, just go until I have to sleep at night. That way I sleep soundly. Like when I have to like sit down and like rest and like think about things, that's like when my anxiety gets amped up. So I'm trying, like, I use the creative outlet, like using with my brand and like making apparel, or just making designs for my apparel that I have yet to even release, just to like use that energy towards something, and so get a good use out of it instead of amping yourself up for no reason.
No, I hear you. I'm definitely the same way when it comes to creativity. If I'm not doing anything creative, like that's when I get the most depressed. I haven't done any art in a while, but like I've mainly done like a lot of fan art. Like I've done like realistic portraits of like, I'll show you off air, like if you have time before we go, but I've done like Black Panther and Deadpool and just stuff like that. But like I've done family members and everything like that. But it definitely helps my creativity between this and art and whatever else I'm doing to like help fight my depression and anxiety. So I hear you. Like that's, and again, I love your designs. Like they're so like you have like you did a St. Patrick's Day themed one recently that was really cool. So I thought that was awesome, and a Halloween themed one last October, which was pretty dope. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, I do agree that mental health is a big thing. There's nothing wrong with, your brain is just like every other muscle, like you're saying with your fitness and everything, like, and staying healthy, maintaining yourself, and building yourself up. Your brain is also something that needs to be taken care of too, because if it's not being taken care of, then you have situations where you see it in the news all the time, like people with severe mental illness are, unfortunately getting bullied so much where they shoot up schools, or they commit suicide, or they commit mass murder. And it's just unfortunate. And I really feel like that's something that is starting to like you're starting to see more in the now, where people are starting to take mental health more seriously. But I still think there's a lot more we can do to make it okay to say, if you're struggling, like, it's okay to reach out for help. There's nothing wrong with that.
I think there's too many people that, like, especially when you're growing up, like, people expect you to be like perfect. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, if there's something wrong with you, then that's not normal, which there's nobody that's perfect. And no. I think kind of like, if there's like a big part of my brand too, is just like being kind to one another. I actually made a design that just says, be a good human. Like, I think people just need to be, better to one another, and actually, don't just see things at a surface level. Like, realize that everybody is going through something at some point in their life, and they could use somebody they don't need another thing on their plate to just have someone be like cruel to them for no reason.
Right. Exactly. But we're also in the generation where, our parents' generation grew up where talking about your mental health was something that never really happened. Like my father, for instance, he would, he grew up, I keep talking about it, but he grew up in an abusive household, and he just had to bury those feelings and that trauma for most of his life. Like he would talk about it, but like not to a therapist or anything like that. He never dealt with it in a healthy way. So,
Right.
and it just like took its toll on him physically, health, mentally, and all that other stuff. And, seeing all that, and then our generation saying, no, like I have emotions, I have feelings too. Like I shouldn't have to be quiet and not express how I feel, like it's wrong, So I think our generation is normalizing more mental health awareness, which is amazing, and it's progression and it's change that we need. So
Which I know it sounds stupid, but I like watch TikTok videos all the time when I'm on Stairmaster doing cardio. Just like some of them are hilarious, but not for those dances either, because I start liking all the mental health things. And it's amazing how much support people give each other when like they talk about anxiety, depression, or even people with body image issues. Like there's a lot of support out there now that even 5 years ago, I don't think it was, there wasn't this much attention put on it.
right.
So I think we're definitely making strides in the right direction with mental health issues, and that makes me hopeful.
I agree.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say, like, I agree, and like there's nothing wrong with like support systems like that, and people like telling you like, yeah, keep going, like you're doing amazing stuff. But like don't ever think for a second though, like any of my listeners, that like, me for instance, I'm not a therapist in any way, shape, or form. I do a podcast where like I like to get to know my guests and share my experiences as well as listening to theirs, and like hear about our struggles and everything like that. And it definitely helps me, but I'm not a therapist in any way. And I even admit when I need help, I go get it. You know what I mean? Like definitely if anyone out there is having struggles right now and you're getting something out of this podcast, great. But if you need more help, definitely go talk to a therapist, see a counselor. Like don't be afraid to do it. And if it's not working out with that therapist, like keep trying. There's other amazing people out there that are trained to help you,
Absolutely. So. Like full, like, honesty, I have been through probably 4 different therapists. Like my first one I really liked, but then he had to move to a different state. And then I spent like a good year and a half trying to find another one, just because everybody has different personalities. Just like you won't click with the same group of friends. It's like with your therapist, like I feel like you have to click, and like you shouldn't have to feel like you have to hold something back from them. Like it's a relationship, just like anything else.
Right.
Be able to be honest with them, and just you're going to benefit from it so much more.
I hear you. Like I definitely clicked with my last therapist. Unfortunately, she's not with the place anymore. She had some sort of family stuff going on and she had to leave. But I felt bad. I felt so bad for my therapist my last time I went through, because like every week it was always something going on in my life, and it's just like, well, at least your life isn't boring, because every time you come in here, there's something new going on. And she's just like, okay, like immediately I would sit down. She'd be like, okay, how did you do this week with X, Y, and Z from last session? I'm like, yeah, I did this, and that. You're never gonna guess what happened this week. And she'd be like, "Oh my god, what?" Like, like just, oh my god, I felt so bad for her. But she was amazing, though. I miss her, but she was great. And I wish her all. But anyway,
like life just takes someone like away from you, just like not even expectedly. It's just like it sucks, But there's always someone that you'll be able to call.
Definitely. So let's talk a little bit about your fitness journey here, because like I was saying earlier, like I've seen all your photos that you post and everything. I've even seen some you were in some competitions and everything like that. How did you get like into that, and like how I don't even know what I'm trying to ask here, but like how did you get into it, and then how did you know that's what you wanted to do, and like get more into like competitions and building yourself up like that?
So I actually only got into fitness when me and my husband now, we were together since we were like 16. So, like when you fall in love with somebody when you're younger, you get comfortable and then you gain a few pounds. That's just how it goes. So I think we started dating at 16. Then by the time we were 22, like I was like 185 pounds by that time. And when I first dated him, I was like 135. So I put on a good amount of weight. And so we started doing workout videos just from home, because I was not comfortable to go into a weight room or any kind of gym, even Planet Fitness, because I just felt uncomfortable in my body. So we did P90X video, and we went through like a whole round of it's like 3-month program or something. And so I did that twice, and I lost like 40 pounds by just doing that. And of course, nutrition. I was just doing like portion control. So like I worked at, do you remember John's Pizza in Waterbury?
Yeah.
I worked at John's Pizza in Waterbury for a long time. And so instead of having like a big bowl of spaghetti, I would just have a little one.
How long did you work there? Because I used to briefly work for the tattoo shop that was next door for a little while.
I worked there for 6 years. So I think I started working there in 2010, 2016.
Okay. I'm trying to think how long ago I was a tattoo apprentice. This was a long time ago, but there was a tattoo shop briefly next door for a while to John's, and we would go in from time to time from John's. I'm not going to say anything about John's Pizza, but it definitely was not one of my favorites. But
it's definitely an acquired taste.
Yes.
People either they're like are in love with it or just don't like it at all. Like there was never in between.
But anyway, keep going.
So eventually I did join Planet Fitness in Waterbury after I lost enough weight, and I was like, like I feel comfortable enough, and like I had more confidence. Which even to add to that, like even today I still struggle with body image issues. It's like ridiculous. Because people will be like, you literally like work out every single day of your life, and you still, I'll never be satisfied. But side note, so I went to Planet Fitness probably for like a year, and I just used bodybuilding.com workout plans. And I followed this one guy, Chris Gethin, who like he would put a video every single day. So I'd watch the video while I'm doing cardio, like amp me up for lifting. And it was like, at this point, there's like, oh, there's guy lifting and then there's girl lifting. Like, that's just the way like people thought that it worked out, which is totally untrue. But so I found out like, oh, I'm actually pretty strong for a girl, because I was able to bench like 135 for like one rep, like by the time I worked out for only a year, which was pretty good at the time. So then my husband actually left Planet Fitness, and he went to Poundstone Performance, which I don't know if you know what Jared Poundstone is.
No.
He used to be a really, really well-known strongman competitor.
Okay.
He's a Naugatuck police officer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he joined Poundstone Gym, and then I was left to like Planet Fitness by myself. I'm like, well, this is kind of whack. Like, I have no one to work out with. So I went down to Poundstones one day, like, of course, totally intimidated. There's like these huge jack dudes like doing strongman events and like bench pressing 500 pounds. And I'm just like, I'm going to go like work out over here. So, needless to say, they were very welcoming. I deadlifted for the first time. Like the first time I deadlifted like 265, which was pretty good for just not even knowing what I was doing.
That's more than what I weigh.
So then after just going there for a day, I was like, yeah, I think I like this. So I joined Poundstones, and then I got into strongman for a couple of years. So that I have a long lifting career. It's like crazy. I did strong, then I did bodybuilding, and then I got into powerlifting, which powerlifting is definitely like my whole heart. Like I love it so much.
Yeah, definitely. I like I said, I've seen your videos, and every time I watch them, I'm like, I don't want to piss her off, because she would destroy me in a heartbeat. Like just the amount of weight, like you post like 3 something today, and then like pushing for 4, and I'm like, fuck that. Like I can't do that. Like especially with my back too. Like I would destroy myself doing that. Like
I actually so after I did my first strongman show and I qualified for nationals, and then it was probably like, it was only 3 weeks afterwards, I was driving in Waterbury by John's Pizza, and someone hit me head on, and uninsured, unregistered, and
oh my God.
I suffered a C1 fracture. So I had a fracture.
You had a fracture where?
C1 fracture.
Oh, in your spine?
Yeah, it's actually the fracture that Christopher Reeves had.
Oh, and God.
So, yeah, the PT was like, you are like incredibly lucky. Like that's like all where like your breathing is. I don't even know the technical things, but she basically kept, every time I went to PT, she goes, "You are so lucky," and just like reassuring me. I'm like, all right, like I get it. You told me.
How long were you out for?
So I stopped lifting for a few months, but I would still go to Pound Stones and like hang out with everybody and just go on the bike, like because I had a neck brace on for 2 months. So I'd be like on the bicycle, just hanging out with my neck brace on and just like pedaling along. And then I would eventually like work up to like doing some bicep curls, just like arm stuff. And then because I couldn't really lift heavy yet, I'm like, oh, I think I want to do a bodybuilding show because that'll be fun. Just diet down as much as I could from all the muscle I gained from before my accident. And so, bodybuilding shows are just a whirlwind of emotions. Like you diet down so much and like you put your body at such a deficit. Like your hormones are just like this. Like one day I'd be crying. And then the next day I would be so happy. And my husband's like, yeah, like, I don't think this is for you.
Yeah.
I like you better when like you have like a post-workout like cookie and you're like happy. So after I did, I think it was a year after my accident, I got back into strength training. And then that's when everybody at Pound Stones wanted to do a powerlifting meet. So I did my first powerlifting meet and I put up really good numbers. And then it was just like to see what you can actually excel at. And like, there's a number to how much you're progressing. So like, oh, I was able to squat 285 at this meet. And then a few months into strength training, I was able to start squatting like 315. So it's like, you could see your numbers going up and it just gets like addictive. You're like, I just want to keep getting stronger. So I've been powerlifting ever since then.
Very cool.
It's called like power building, I guess they categorize it as, because I still do like bodybuilding things like hypertrophy, like high reps after like a big, singles and doubles with squat, bench, and deadlift. So I like to do both because I don't want to just be like a big lump of muscle that can do nothing outside of a weight room.
No, I hear you. I mean, you're talking about your injury too. My accident happened back in 09, I think it was, and I had surgery in 2013. It was called a hemilemonectomy, and basically all my discs that were fucked up from my accident. I fell through a mezzanine. I don't know if, it was work related, long story short. And I was putting some stuff away.
A mezzanine, is that like one of those, like a room, like a glass room that
no, so basically it's like, you ever like, you go down the aisles in like Home Depot?
Yeah.
Like there are those big structures. Well, imagine there's a second floor in between those aisles where you can like walk around and like go to another aisle or whatever. It's like that, but it's like 12 feet up, and I was on the second floor and I fell through one of them. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. I was I'm sorry, go ahead.
How long ago was that?
This was 09, I think. It was bad. I was putting some stuff away and I was going back to head back down and the floor just gave way. I fell right through. I hit a step ladder on the way down and I woke up on the floor below, and I don't remember the fall at all. I just remember my coworker holding my neck, like screaming for someone to call 911. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like, and I fucked up a couple discs.
Being in pain?
At that time, no. My body was more in shock of like, what the hell just happened? And by the time I was in the ambulance, like that's when it started bothering me. I'm like, okay, I feel like I got hit by a truck. Like, what the hell happened? They're injecting me with painkiller at this point and everything. Like, and by the time I got to the hospital, I was so doped up on painkillers. The doctor's like, can you like stand up for me or anything like that? I'm like, I could do backflips for you right now. I'm so fucking high right now on fucking painkillers. Like, but yeah, later that night though, when it all wore off, I'm like, oh, I can't fucking move. Like in MRIs and x-rays later, like I had 2 damaged discs on my lower back. And basically what they did was they turned the damaged discs into like scar tissue, which is slowly starting to deteriorate now years later. So I might have to go back for a fusion or artificial discs in the next couple of years, which I'm really hoping doesn't happen. But I've been trying. I'm sorry.
injections or anything?
I did the injections first. They didn't help. I did months and months and months of physical therapy. Nothing was helping. I was just basically struggling. I had a limp for like 3 years. I was back and forth fighting with insurance companies, like, that were handling my case. Like, nothing is helping. I have 2 surgeons telling me you need surgery. You know what I mean? Like, I went to one guy, he was telling me I needed surgery. I'm like, well, let me get another opinion. I went to another surgeon. They're like, yeah, you need surgery. And I'm just like, okay, they're both saying I need surgery. Like, and everything
Right.
I've done for you guys isn't helping. So finally in like 2013, I had my surgery. So, and I was in physical therapy for like 6 months after that until I was starting to feel better again. Like, I don't have a limp anymore. I definitely have my bad days, but I've been trying to build my core back up and trying to like lose weight and
Yes.
put away years from going back under the knife. You know what I mean? So
My my mother-in-law, she had to get a back surgery, and she had a fusion as well. And she, like, after the surgery, she wishes like she tried to go like a healthier route and try to just, work out more and kind of strength train more to help her back issues, because now, like,
you lose all that mobility after
right.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yoga is so amazing. Like, especially for like, I never thought I would get into yoga. I haven't done it in a little while because like I've been, kind of got too much on my plate right now. But when I was doing yoga, like, it was amazing for my back. I was doing a lot of DDP yoga, which was like resistance mixed with, I'm sorry, what?
DVP yoga?
DDP. It was named after a professional wrestler who kind of had the same injury as I did. And he was one of those like macho guys, like, oh, yoga, I'm not doing yoga. Like, yoga's for women, blah, 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 blah. And then like he started doing yoga and he was like, wow, I'm getting more flexibility back. Like, I'm starting to feel great. Like, this is awesome. And then like he was like, what if I did some more like resistance with it? And then like he found with diet and nutrition, and his little mix and match of yoga, he was actually building muscle while gaining flexibility back. So it was it's actually a really great program. Any of my listeners that want to check it out, definitely check it out. DDP Yoga, named after Diamond Dallas Page. It's amazing. So, but yeah, I just had to, I had no idea you had a injury like that. Like, what was the recovery like? Like, I know you said that you were like taking it slow, getting back into it, but I mean, like, what was the time frame, I guess, for your recovery from something like that?
I was in a neck brace for 2 months. And then after I got out of my neck brace, I had to go to PT for several months. And basically it was just, very minimal training exercises and a lot of massage. Like, even now, like, I still struggle. Like, I have to go to a chiropractor at least every other week, or I have limited mobility turning my neck one way. And definitely
is it fused or is it
no,
or it was just fractured?
Right. I just had a fracture. I didn't need any surgery or anything.
Okay.
Thank goodness. But after, I think, getting back into strength training within 6 months or so helped a lot, because I didn't lose too much mobility, and I kept, moving and getting to, like, when I don't go to the gym, I'm actually more sore than going to the gym. Definitely something that has been that way ever since my accident. Like, I have my good days and bad. Like, I know deadlifting for sure is like the worst for my neck, but I love deadlifting because it's when I can lift the most. So it's like, I'm never going to stop deadlifting.
Right.
So I'll take having to go to the chiropractor, a little more frequently around deadlift days if I have to. So.
Very cool. Well, I'm glad it, didn't turn out as worse as Chris Reeves, because Jesus Christ, like that, oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would have done if that happened to me either with my lower back. Anyway, let's talk about some more happier stuff. Let's talk about OG Barbell for a little bit, because like I love your designs. They're so, you got a lot of bright colors and like a lot of like amazing font styles, and like your designs, I've definitely, because I studied design for a while. I went to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh online before they shut down, without telling their students, 2 months before I finished their fucking program. But anyway, yeah, long story. Anyway,
So I went to school for digital design and I was learning a lot of that. And then I'm seeing your stuff and I'm like, wow, like she's doing a lot of stuff that like I was learning about back in school. Like I picked up on a lot of your stuff and I'm like, wow, she's doing a lot of great things. Like, I want to pick her brain a little bit about that kind of stuff. But how did you get into design stuff?
So I actually have a degree in graphic design. And I got that a long time ago. And I just never had a job in graphic design. I just kind of, after I looked for a job for, I think it was at least a year after I graduated, I just fell into ophthalmology, which is what I still do now. So I've been in ophthalmology for 10 years. So I just stayed in healthcare. And I just accepted, okay, well, graphic design is just going to be, my side hustle, I guess, or my side creativity. Because everyone I talk to, they're like, well, if you want to do graphic design, you're going to have to move to like a more rural area, like New York,
Texas, or
anything like that. So I would like it to be like my full-time gig, but right now it's just kind of my side hustle with OG Barbell and, just playing around with things. And I kind of neglected it for a while. You get in your full-time job and you just like, the time you're done at work, you're like, I just want to do what I want. Like, I want to go to whatever your hobby is and then come home and have a cocktail and go to sleep.
Exactly. No, I'm in the same boat as you. Like I've been in manufacturing for, God, I don't even know how many years now, but like I've been wanting to get into graphic design and digital design and like video editing. And it's just so competitive, like you were saying. And but now you have like this amazing website and portfolio that like if you were to go somewhere, it's like, oh yeah, can you show me your portfolio? You just drop your website, here you go. Like,
yeah,
hire me. Like, do I start Monday? Like, like...
The only issue with like graphic design is technology changes so fast. So like I know the Photoshop from like 8 years ago, but when I started doing my brands now, my brand and all my designs, it's like I felt like such a new like a little baby cow like trying to learn how to walk. I was just like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
It's such a great tool, YouTube.
Exactly. YouTube, and actually, like I said before, TikTok, you could literally find how to do anything on TikTok. It's a little ridiculous. But yeah, YouTube is a great tool for me. And I do a little too many things right now. Like I got into doing like epoxy art and like making things with like dried flowers and besides like a brand is cool with just clothes, but I want to like expand on that. Like you have so many hoodies and t-shirts.
Exactly. Like, yeah, like there's a streamer that I follow who used to be a part of a bigger company called Rooster Teeth. And him and his wife have their own merch website. And they were like, yeah, we just don't want to do just straight like shirts and hoodies. Like we want to do a lot of like cooler stuff that like we think is cool. Like, so they do like notebooks, they do like mugs, they do like a bunch of other unique items from time to time that sell out like instantly. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Like I never really thought about that because like when it comes to merch, I'm just thinking, okay, t-shirts, hoodies, whatever, stuff like that. But yeah, no, I hear you. That's awesome.
Yeah. The whole idea behind it was like I wanted to spread awareness about mental health. And after talking, like when I did all my competitions, I've done several competitions now in powerlifting, but a lot of people in powerlifting and just like bodybuilding, people that lift a lot of their time, they struggle a lot from mental mental health issues. Like a lot of people with anxiety and like depression. And it really surprised me how many people actually like relate to that with me. So my love for lifting and like mental health, me wanting to bring awareness to mental health kind of like merged together. And that's how I created OG Barbell. Well, OG actually was something I created because my maiden name is O'Toole and my married name is Giannini. So, and behind I'm like, well, my initials are going to be OG, like original gangster.
There you go.
So I started with, I'm like, be the OG because it was just like, I just want people to just be original. Like, don't want to be like everybody else. Like, exactly what you want to do with your life, you should do it. Like, don't follow the pattern of what other people are doing.
Words to live by. Hell yeah. And hey, lift more, hate less. That was one of my favorites that you put up there. I was like, hell yeah. Like, definitely like once I saw more of your designs, like that's when I was like, I need to hit her up because like I see the message that she's trying to get across here, and spreading mental health awareness and stuff within your brand. And I was like, I want her on my podcast because I want to pick her brain and talk to her more about this kind of stuff because I find it really interesting. So any of my listeners, definitely check it out. OG Barbell. Pick up some merch today. I'm sure we'll plug it again at the end of the show, but check out all her designs. They're amazing. I got my stimulus, so I might be dropping some very soon on you. So,
so if you want something with your podcast on it, we can do
sweet.
that.
Absolutely. I'm down. So yeah, let's, well, before we get into future plans and stuff, what are your favorite designs from OG Barbell, like that you've made?
So my favorite design was definitely Be a Good Human. Was I put it on a tie-dye hoodie. I'm like really obnoxious with like bright colors, like something that just like screams like different. Like this is actually a bleach hoodie. So like I just use bleach as the tie-dye instead. So I like the Be a Good Human one. And then I also like the one that this is Everyone Has a Sad Story, Grind Harder, which is it's a bleach tee. But that's just something that like I feel like people use a lot of excuses in their lives to like not do something that they're passionate about. And I think that more people should follow through with their dreams and just like kind of just like put the excuses aside. That's your thing.
As I'm like pointing to myself. Yes. No, it's very true. And I totally get that. Do you do all the stuff yourself? Like when making the merch, do you do it all yourself or do you have like a separate company that does it?
No, I do everything. So from beginning to end, like I do all the administration on my website. So the moment that someone places an order, I get all the blank T-shirts. Then if it's like a bleach tie dye, I'll do all the bleach tie dyes or the regular tie dyes. I actually use heat vinyl. So I cut out all the design after the designs are already made. I cut them all out of vinyl. This is like my actual setup right here. There's all the vinyl. Damn. In the heat press. Yeah, I'm in my office right now, so this is like
very cool.
But everything. The order's done, I print out the slip and I ship it out. So
very cool.
I have a few friends that help me out. Like I've been trying to do more powerlifting meets and like have tables there to kind of spread the name brand and things like that to show people. Like it's crazy how many people relate to it too. And that's like what I was saying before, like going to powerlifting meets and seeing how many people actually use lifting as like to relieve anxiety or depression, things like that. So a couple of friends helped me out at having a table, because when I get bigger bulk orders, then I'm like losing sleep and stuff. But I'd much rather lose sleep than not follow my dreams. So
I hear you. Same here. And, it sounds like you tapped into a very good market of people that, like you were saying, that can relate to your brand, which is awesome. Like, I wish you nothing but success with that because, again, you have amazing designs and it's you have heartfelt messages behind it, which, again, attracted me to getting you on this podcast to talk about because it's such an amazing message. So what do you got for future plans coming up? Because I know you got to get going soon. So.
The future plans are going to be, I kind of want to branch out from just like lifting meets. I want to start getting into a specific company or foundation, like for mental health awareness. Like I want to start being able to donate to a mental health awareness foundation at least once a month through, whatever profits I make off of the brand. So that's something that is in the works. And also just being able to, COVID messed up so many things, like having like groups of people and stuff. So with some more restrictions being lifted, I can actually plan more events like face to face with people and actually, I like to just be able to relate to other people and be able to meet people face to face and basically just hear what their story is. So I think that's the plan for 2021 is get into more mental health foundations and meet more people.
There you go. what was I about to say? I'm gonna edit this out because I just had a mental fucking brain fart for a second. But no, that's awesome. Do you want to plug anything? Your website and stuff? And we'll just we'll talk off air after I do my plugs.
Yep. So if anybody want to check out ogbarbell.com, that's where I have all my brand, and I'm gonna start a blog this year as well, just to kind of like touch upon more mental health things and basically share what has helped me through anxiety or depressive. Like I go through like depressive states, so what has helped me kind of stride through those episodes. But also, like you said before, always kind of reach out for professional help if you think you need to.
Very cool. And there you go. Yeah, definitely check out OG Barbell again. Support, my friend Lauren over here, with her great cause. Everyone should definitely pick up some of her merch because it's amazing. I'm going to do some of my own plugs and then we'll talk off air and go from there. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, hi, how are you? Please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon to get notified every time we drop a new video. If you want to leave a comment, cool. I'd appreciate it. If you're listening on audio, we're available on all major podcast networks. Please hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend, tell a family member, even if you have to mask up, put on some gloves, steal their phone away from them, to hit that subscribe button, sanitize it, and then return it in their hands. I would appreciate it. Yeah, if you want to follow the show, go to facebook.com/Road to Travel Podcast to stay up to date with the show. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at RWT Pod. We have a Patreon. If you want to become a Patreon member today, go to patreon.com/Road to Travel to get exclusive perks like episodes early, AMAs, all that great stuff. If there's anything else that you guys want available on Patreon, if you're a Patreon member, let me know. I'll make it happen. You can email us at roadtotravelpodcast@gmail.com. Get me your questions, your comments, your stories. I'll read them on the show. I'd appreciate it. And make sure to rate and review the show too, please. That's the only way that we're going to stand out in a sea of millions of other podcasts. So I would appreciate that. Follow me at Twitch at twitch.tv/JRBuckleGaming. I stream every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night for the most part. And if you want to check out my portfolio, go to www.alanmpelletierjr.com. All right, Lauren. That's all the plugs. I promise. I don't want to bore you anymore. So a lot of stuff I have to plug, unfortunately, at the end of the show. So this was great. I'm glad that we finally got to make this happen. And, definitely want to have you come back on someday down the road and talk more about this kind of stuff. So I wish you all the best. Wish you and your husband all the best. Please stay safe out there and talk soon.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.